What do you do in life,
Nobody
man?
knows what to actually do. There's nothing to do. There's no actual work for anyone to do around here. What do you want me to do? Build you a little app? Some little stupid mini game? In-game monetization? Microtransactions? You want me to make you a blog?
Wait, I do all these things except microtransactions.
And this idea.
My transactions are really small, actually. They're worth nothing, and you cannot trade. But this is something people dare to call TempleOS, made by Terry Davis. A dude that passed away at 2018, but people know about him way too much. I'm not sure why. Well, let's find out by typing TempleOS. Let's see what happens. People dare to talk about other OS systems, and this seems to be just, special S-tier programmers. Oh, there's a lot of content here.
The next $1 million app, and I wanted to speed it up. I could just hire 10 developers, right? And it would go 10 times faster. That's because 10 developers means 10 times the code, right? Well, unfortunately not. And that's exactly what the famous book, The Mythical Man.
The workload matrix. First of all, when it comes to extracting gold from the ground and finding projects that can actually reach certain levels, I like to use stars as gold, technically. You position yourself to a certain degree. And I think what right now people are searching for are, in fact, TempleOSs. I mean, when I was making this thing, I'm like, shit, this makes all the sense. Just keep going from this position. This is just obvious for me as a game developer. I could have a place where I just put every single game in there as a mini game, and it's like easy to interact with. Technically, I just have one, but it's just so simple and super sweet, and still pretty complicated to beat. And you can make your own rules, basically. But I also made a game previously, but I broke it down, and I will rebuild it again using grids, tile, 5, using these things. The possibilities are endless, and the first thing you have to do is position yourself so you actually start reaching to those possibilities, and when you catch one possibility, fully encompass it and drag it into your said OS. At least that's my strategy, right? When it comes to building things. A lot of the time you will spend on ideas. A lot of the time you will spend on forcing yourself to work on something. A lot of the time you will spend on building tools and making yourself a better programmer overall. So because you're spending so much time not actually programming and not actually aiming for the goals, but to just like neutralize all the bad feelings surrounding it, neutralize all the things that you don't know about programming by learning tools. Because this is the other thing that's all around, the moonlight, moonstones, bro, tools, I would say. So there's goals and there's little achievements you can make to progress faster. In fact, that's what makes good programmers versus bad programmers as well. Not only bad programmers don't have an OS, they just try to copy and paste, and it actually slows them down. Using other people's tools would slow you down. Like, you have to build your own in that sense. But they also don't use the nodes to run faster. They actually slow down. Lose motivation as well, because this is such a motivating factor, because you became better. You didn't just achieve something for someone else, potentially, and monetized it. So there's a lot of steps, and it's definitely an exponential growth, leveling up your programming skills and your mindset, and most people didn't understood what the fuck this matrix even looks like in real life, or what it means over here. But it's just an achievement matrix technically on every single work imaginable. Like, you cannot do repairs to your home until you pick up enough tools to do it. You can try and force it, go directly, but it's better just to scoop around and find all these tools, and it will make you faster. It's applicable in every single situation, every single skill, and you are the OS sometimes, or your room, wherever you're going to store. Basically, it's a storage unit, right? That's what it is. Any amount of tools, OS is a storage unit for all that stuff. It is a little bit weird positioning in my life because my life kind of fucking sucks. My teeth hurt right now for 7 days, and hopefully this never happens again. And I will like put a lot of pressure on myself to feel as healthy as possible next year, because that is very relevant, and that's one thing that I can actually improve. So when it comes to like finding things to do, work on yourself.
Work was really a figment of the last era, but hard work never equals success.
Well, it equals money, the money that can be taken away from you. And people, when the capitalism is evolving, will find a way to take your money away from you. Unfortunately, even government, by printing more money, inflates currency. But it's a very weird thing to assume that that's what's going to make your money less valuable. But technically, we see inflation, and we can attribute it to the government printing money, right?
Is on. It turns out the more developers you...
Yeah, there's another problem of communication. In fact, in programming, it's the worst. This is the worst problem you will ever have. Communication overall. To be able to have, like, you have to have a good team of people who can communicate with each other. Otherwise, you're just screwed.
You add to the team, the less productive an individual developer.
That's what it is. This is why one person can actually make a good OS, as opposed to many people. The problem with OS right now, operating systems in general, is the fact that there's a lot of compatibility issues, right? In order to like run things like games. What the hell? Run games? Yeah, these are not just moving pictures. They require like graphics, intricate software that I can't possibly understand. Even just videos can have many formats. Like pictures, we somehow nailed down to like 2 formats. Plus a few degenerate formats. We can stitch images together, but we can't really stitch videos together. Like, you would think it's easy to stitch videos together. It's not. I don't know how to do that to this day. I don't know how to stitch videos together, bro. I wish I could do it. That would be a very interesting tool to have in my tool belt, but videos are already so complex that you can't handle them properly without an editing tool. So there's all these compatibility issues basically going on of like opening files and running files that it does get really complicated really fast to have your own OS system for the computer, especially. It would be nice, right? Just simplifying things, and it is always possible, by the way. And we're sort of like running away from that topic. It is possible just to have a box that just performs things, right? And connects you to the internet, and whatever internet has to offer, you're going to get into your box. Projected back to you. Like, there is the compatibility issue of websites, and everything is complicated, maybe overly complicated of what it's trying to achieve. Often enough, we just want to like send information and watch TikToks, bro. Tiki-talkies. And it is a video format. It can be vertical or horizontal. Even that can fucking be a glitch waiting to happen. Like on my tablet, sometimes it locks. It just locks vertical, horizontal. I can't flip it anymore. Random. It's bad shit waiting to happen when it comes to complicated file formats. And that bad shit is called Windows right now. Something that's kind of turning into a monopoly, basically, or has been a monopoly for so long that it's turning into a corrupted monopoly that everyone is trying to run away from and starting to talk about OS a little bit more. You know.
Code, but how impactful a developer can be with their limited.
Yeah, lines of code are completely useless when it comes to this. That's why you have to pick up tools. That's your experience level, your impact level. Because tool allows you to just copy and paste a platform, and next time you do something, bam, 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 really fast. You skip a few steps every now and then, and it's really OP.
Limited amount of time, but.
And you also know the structure in which you have to work to achieve things. All this stuff gets sped up significantly. When it comes to tools, I have them right here. I just recently discovered that there are things called extensions where you can call an extension from any single variable, basically. Bam, extension right here. It will turn something into code or whatever. And back into code. Back and forth. Flip it. Extensions that allow you to transform one variable into another type of variable. These sort of things, they're game-changing for developers who have not learned to do these things. And maybe there's even more stuff that is groundbreaking waiting to happen in my brain, basically. And the moment I got used to it was the moment I said to everyone, I can make this stupid bazaar thing in 2 months, and I will try and do it. Now, it's obviously going to be a fucking sweaty 2 months, but yeah, one person could potentially just make a game better than a whole game studio. It is definitely possible, especially when we're talking about 2D games as well, that don't require you to do much graphical or sound effect engineering, because the core of the gameplay is just to visually represent puzzles for people to solve. And it has to be progressively engaging and randomized, so it never gets boring. Challenges, quests, you name it. Whatever it takes to make the game feel like a game that you could play forever. That's the goal, as always. To try and find that game, because the closest we got is Minecraft, right? Why is Minecraft some infinite feeling game? Honestly, I don't know. At that time, it felt like it's something you can do for a very long time. Explore, build shelter in various places, and my brain wasn't even ready to accept Minecraft, so I was just slowly trying to understand what it is. And Minecraft does not actually present you with a bunch of enemies and all that. You just run it at your own pace as well. And most importantly, it overwhelms you with alternative reality and freedom. That's the whole point. This is the closest we ever got to a game breaking through the metagame of just everything else, where one developer was able to actually do it, right? It's not what you're able to do it. So I can't wait to see this whole tier list. Is it not a tier list? Is he just talking about all these people.
But,
All right, let's.
but what if there was a kind of developer that can not just be 10 times, but 1,000 times more productive? In fact, in this video, we're going to talk about 4 different 1000x developers, each of whom made it. With 1000x developers, though, I'm talking more about creative genius. Bitcoin, Linux, and Minecraft. So you can probably, John Carmack pioneered his very own 3D engine and released Wolfenstein 3D. Recognition where in February 2021,
I still feel like Bitcoin can actually be defeated and destroyed. People's interest is high, but understanding is low, and I think that's what destroys Bitcoin already. Like, it's fake and garbage, and it actually prone scams to exist in the world, which is also very destructive for people to just invest their money, throw their money into this. Just like the moral behavior of Bitcoin is flawed. Maybe the core of Bitcoin is not flawed, but the moral behavior is flawed because it's supposed to be fundamentally useful. And even in the conception of Bitcoin, it has started as a problem solving for mathematicians type of idea where you just plug in your stupid GPUs and help mathematicians find the next prime bullshit. I mean, I'm sorry, bro. It's painfully stupid. It is painfully stupid what Bitcoin actually is, despite me not even remembering or knowing very well what is blockchain. Besides that, like, it's very difficult to make transactions because it has to be verified somehow. Like, I don't understand that shit, to be honest. This feels like such a fucking fake hype over like a secure system that decentralized, right? The decentralization hype. But when we think about a decentralization, then potentially there are other ways to achieve it, right? And maybe even better ways to achieve it. I feel like the most decentralized system is decentralized trust system, right? Or also known, my friends, as democracy. The decentralized trust system is a central system, but people trust it to decentralize itself, basically to give power to the people more than it will hoard the power for itself. It is a democratically elected, fucking fair government system, but in this case, it's technological government. And that's, if we're talking about decentralization, is the best you can do. Because obviously, we have learned how to run websites. The only problem with the only purpose of decentralization is to trust, to get trust back to yourself, because you trust yourself to have self-interest and whatnot, but that does not build anything, you know? So the only way, like, you have to trust the system or your tools that you are provided, or the government that will provide you with power, like money. Money is also potentially power if you know where to spend it to upgrade your life and whatnot. Like this decentralized central system is the thing that will kill Bitcoin very easily, I think. I don't even understand what people are doing, to be honest, when it comes to Bitcoin. That's why I just stay away. I'm like, I don't understand what you guys doing. What are you guys yapping about? Buy Bitcoin? They're just fucking just jumping in and throwing dollars at random fucking objects as if like it's some kind of carnival type of idea. Just because something is solid doesn't mean you have to have it. It's solid across the bytes of the internet. You know, that's what it did. It just solidified parts of the internet into like rocks, and people can feel like they own something because it's rocks, but those rocks, they don't grow. They don't actually give you value. It just gives you a imaginary purpose to hold more rocks. and follow the story of the rocks growing in value, but they are still rocks. They still do the same shit, which is just sit there, basically. And I'm very passionate to understand more about Bitcoin. However, this is not a topic about Bitcoin. I'm just saying, like, fucking stay away until Bitcoin is used properly for transacting value. You know, where you can buy things with Bitcoin, or at least exchange things easily. Transactions, bro. Like, if there's any convenience of something that internet can provide you, that's the only time you can actually even worry about it in the first place. And so far we haven't even like achieved earning status of like earning coins that have value and you can exchange that into some kind of real life value fast. We have nothing base. I haven't seen Bitcoin do anything for so fucking long already. So I don't know, man, if this is even worth, like, people are so hyped on this thing. And people are hyped on Doom, too. Oh, man.
Bitcoin disappeared from everywhere.
Wow, he disappeared, guys.
In 20, he owns over 1 million Bitcoins, which are worth over $5 billion. Well, quite a creator of Linux. Now,
it is kind of like me, right? Bitcoin is like me. I can be yapping over and over again, and people like watching me do things, and they sort of understand 50% of what I'm talking about. But it's still just yapping, and I'm not actually like doing anything. I'm just taking a look at Bitcoin and, well, recognizing the same thing. It's not doing anything. Except I do try to like ground myself into real life knowledge, work on yourself type of things, avoid bullshit. That shit is so much more interesting. And when you sucked into Bitcoin, that's bullshit that is really difficult to get out of, because you all of a sudden wasting your time looking at the price of Bitcoin, looking at other shit coins that you can possibly invest to, and yes, you might actually gain something from that monetarily, if that's all you care about. Trying to catch people's hype, because it's lottery, by the way. It's lottery to try and earn money. It's like fucking through the internet. Oh my god. Where success stories will always outshadow all the failures, bro. Because all these people are just stupid. But then overall, the productivity of human beings gets sucked in by Bitcoin. It's actually the most evil technology that ever exists, because not only it doesn't do anything, it just wastes other people's time and money. And it turns into lottery, basically, for a lot of people to get sucked into this investment lottery, which is great for capitalism, for sure.
Now the Linux developer kernel will be used in so much tech that we use today. Android, for example, is a modified Linux kernel, and it's in literally billions of phones worldwide. All 500 supercomputers in the world run on Linux. NASA relies heavily on Linux, and the majority of servers in the Linux kernel. Now the
I mean, sounds like a good transition to make, but we're still stuck with this fucking Windows bullshit. Mostly because we're sentimental towards files that we have, because like it's very difficult to, well, open them, as I've said. It's crazy.
funny ultimate programmer fashion, when creating this, he was just making something that he needed. And
yes, the unintended consequence. You feel you need something, that's the way I do as well. For me, what I needed was influence tracking of like where do I spend my time, because that's the real money in life. Where do I spend time? So I could always think about myself as spending time. This is a self-reflection type of thing. Time becomes currency, time becomes valuable. And at the same time, it almost is the greatest painting of all time, just to think every single day you wake up and you try to be like more efficient, or just at least appreciate time in some kind of, it's just worshiping kind of scenario. Because if you want to be better than other people, you have to worship time the most. That could be the unintended story. I'm trying to exaggerate how powerful it is to, you know, appreciate time, and then organizing of all the different ways that you can spend time on all the different people on your list, right? So I never run out of ideas of what to do. And it just grows from here. It doesn't stop. Let's see here. Most important thing for me to spend time on is myself. But not the physical self, but the title that I have, the ego self of the way that I want other people to see me. That's what you're going to spend the most time. The second spend time is entertaining yourself, finding happiness. So there's going to be some fucking game. The third time is finding knowledge, finding a library of flowing knowledge, basically. Fourth thing could be, in fact, yourself. Interesting. And then everything you love, can go down. But in my case, the biggest love is number 5. The biggest power buff, I call it, okay? Then my second channel, all right, second identity, kind of, or an overarching interest in the category that I have my entertainment in. So this could be the biggest game within that category, and then I have a whole channel dedicated to the whole category, so representing a much bigger pool of various things. Then a bunch of other things to love, and platforms, some second game, and then this could be redefined differently. But for me, as a single man, I will be chasing a bunch of women all over the place and try to get as close as possible. That's the number one goal, is to understand it's like, isn't love the greatest thing that I can achieve? So I try to spend time sort of equally learning from people and chasing women, right? Gaming is for men, and then chasing women is to fulfill the emptiness of not knowing what the other side of humanity is even up to, right? Like, you always need to keep an eye on them, because you never know when they have the doors open. Then you can talk to them and interact and trade and do all the interesting things instead of being isolated and sort of rejected. Time, and like, I spent time, I stacked, bro. I fucking stacked information for myself to understand who I even am. Because without work, without a ladder to climb, it's very difficult for people to understand where they are in life and that they are moving forward in the first place. Being YouTube CEO, like, I can say to my ego, I'm YouTube CEO, and it will not mean anything until I attach a number next to it. Then I know that I'm being a YouTube CEO for a certain amount of time longer, very likely, than anyone else in the world, first of all, that nobody actually wants to hold a title in the first place. And every single time this takes, that's how long it would take for people to catch up. They have to fucking knock me off the fucking chair and try and take over this number by giving me something that I would like to have instead of the title. Maybe there's something more fun in life. Some special game, fucking Skyrim 2, as a trade. So I would not do my duties. Someone else can take all the reputation instead. This is how crazy it is, though. Life is pretty crazy when you understand that reputation grows in shadows right now. Like, nobody actually cares. Everyone wants to be a hater. Everyone wants to be a fucking disgusting human being. You cannot actually make new inventions because people will immediately think that you're just self-profiting, basically. Or you're going to be like insane visionary It will still self-profit billions of dollars, and there's no need to encourage people like that because money exists. And for me, I'm like, yeah, but you still have to help them survive. The visionary people that change the world, you still want to invest into them. So if you ever wanted to invest into something, how about smart people, right? Bitcoin, that's not an investment. You should be investing in smart people. You should be giving money to make friends. It's so fucking disgusting to see in this video the fucking pit of hell, basically, that people are just rolling into, thinking that throwing money into the internet, investing into the internet, that's the correct way. No, you invest into experiences and making friendships. Like, this fucking crazy to do it backwards, basically, to invest into just waiting until your money grows. Okay, you take it out, but you should have learned how to use that money on other things. I just pro myself, or proned, in order to be able to do that. The moment I have money flowing in, I will immediately start spending it on, making people's lives better. And I should probably train myself to do that at some point. Right now, maxes. I want to become better. And this is a motivating system, by the way. This OS is motivational OS, if anything. If there's a deeper level, besides influence tracking, you can track influence of things you do, which is like food or stress, horror, drama, any drama happening, you can track that. In this case, this year, 2025, the upcoming year in like 2 weeks, so basically it is what it is, right? I want to just do it. If I feel like I have to do something, still improve my body, mostly is the biggest thing people want to just do, go to the gym. Well, that's definitely not necessary unless, you achieve some kind of, you need tools in your home. You have to have tools in your disposal. People who go to the gym, they have fucking lack of brain cells as well. In order to just do it, you have to train yourself, and you have to also know what part of the body to train to become more efficient, because just training your body, you're wasting your energy. Like, that's the fucking crazy thing. You're gonna have to eat more and earn more money or something. You might get sucked again into a predatory system of thinking that muscle somehow equal, better life. Well, better life is to not be stressed, first of all. And sometimes at some point, muscles will actually put stress on you because you will be losing muscles. So you have to regain those muscles. You have to keep moving. So that's very stressful. Like, people put themselves into a very stressful situation. And I'm like, the moment I give you an insult, you will think that you can defeat me, but you cannot defeat me. You still have to catch me, You still have to outrun me with those muscles, a mountain of muscles. And then you catch me, and now you have to deal with fucking justice system of like, yeah, you beat me, but like, you're a very different guy than everyone else. So you have special physical features, that make you very easy to recognize in the street. I'm sorry, bro. Muscles don't give you any advantages in life, but you do have to not have disorders in your body. You have to fight against that. Remove all the disorders, increase metabolism, all that shit. Right now, I'm in pain, and I was in tooth pain for like fucking 7 days, and now it's discomfort moment where it's supposed to heal and everything. And I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I can only spiritually feel it, that, things are going to get better. It's going to be over. No big deal. And I will work on myself metabolism, meaning that everything will heal even better and solidify and prevent pain from happening ever again, basically. Mostly it's just wisdom teeth attacking me, right? It's the regular Russian attack, nothing to be afraid of, basically. It's fascinating to me. Attack on unprotected countries, yep. Unprepared. They gotta weaponize themselves and fight back against wisdom teeth supremacy, bro. Yeah, we're definitely touching a lot of topics here, but that's the second layer, is to keep track and motivate yourself, because every number goes up is like a little spark that you know it's saved. It's saved every single time. All data is saved, bro. Any move you make, any number go up moment is permanent record, basically. And I love that. I love all these numbers going up and competing against each other and creating meaning that way, because they cannot go down. Those numbers cannot go down. Just like it shouldn't. The only number goes down is you buying food. Because food just allows you to buy another day, which doesn't really give you anything in base value. So you just lost. Like, you traded money for another day, and it's seemingly a good thing, but it could just dilute who you are. You know, time is just unavoidable. Looming doom that could either make you or break you. If you give up into time, everything gets diluted. You get stuck in a fucking bed or whatever in a room for too long. Things get fucking stupid really fast. I have the time to reflect right now of where do I want to go into the right topic, right? Because if I position myself properly, it's all about that draw a line moment, right? You keep drawing lines and checking. It's like, how many things am I hitting here? Projectionism, basically. How do I position myself? So it's like playing a billiard, basically. I would love a game like this, by the way. Like, you position yourself and then you draw a line. Bam. Poof. Position, poof. And you just keep jumping around. That would be a super cool game, right? Well, then this line is pretty good. Man, look at that. Pretty good line. So sometimes it's good to give yourself some time, but not too much time. Fuck that. In my case, when I'm making a video, I have limited amount of time of what can I put into the video until it becomes full. The cup is full, and it has to have a theme. It has its own name and expectations of what people gonna see in it, right? You do enough exercise and you reward yourself. Level up, and level up your expectations too. But it's just about spending time and doing whatever you want, not something extremely specific. Push-ups, bro. Lifting weights. Exercise is never specific. Everything has to be flexible in that sense when it comes to motivation. Because it will allow you to understand what is more. All the little things. If you're too specific, you're just going to focus on the goal. But you can find little more things. Little more dimensions to that same thing. Or connections. Bridges. Good metabolism, good health, would mean that you're a better programmer because you can sit next to a computer for longer or whatever. Without feeling bad. Not only without bad feelings, but you can just genuinely feel more productive. Rather than give up faster, sooner, or whatever. Even just tiny movements can be more determined based on your energy levels and how you manage them.
Dislike for people and a monastic focus on programming.
You can see there's different flaws. This is very interesting. It's like a storyline of fireproof storyline of people having flaws, and those flaws are not fireproof. This is what makes them, what breaks them, basically. The reason why Satoshi Nakamoto is probably anonymous, because he doesn't know if the thing that he has created is like a nuclear weapon. He has released a nuclear weapon code, and everyone is using it on each other, sucking in this like big vortex thing as well. People's money are getting sucked into this, and it's just like, what is going on? In this case, it's just, you know, one and done operation of inventing 3D graphics, but even then, you could have done a wrong thing of the way you have done 3D graphics. And I feel like it has to be reinvented. There's infinite detail possible right now. Infinite detail doesn't require much effort to run on simple computers. But right now we're in the age where everything is laggy, everything is difficult to put together graphically, and it just kills a lot of development time as well. All of these are vortexes of like destruction of regular people. Even Doom. Linux? Yeah, I would still imagine that the fact that we still need Linux to be the main operating system, but we can't have it, that's also a waste of people's time. Like, we're diving deeper into the vortex of Microsoft, but some dude who throws a middle finger at people and doesn't really care about them cannot save us from the Windows apocalypse or whatever. Because the Windows are going to get more and more greedy as they become more and more desperate to control. And the billionaire owners might find more and more ways to use money for power or whatever.
Take focus on what he calls an inability to communicate with.
Inability to communicate.
In fact, he's been known to send quite abusive messages to the digital age. We've got one more, a controversial one. Marcus Peterson.
It's only controversial because people have no idea what to do with his name and fame and whatnot. He's just the dude who sold his soul and is the front runner of Fireproof storyline. How do I not sell myself to Microsoft? It's literally right in there. The nemesis of Linux, you know? Microsoft Windows. They own so much of the market in that sense.
AKA Notch, if not.
Minecraft could have been something that Notch owned and just gained passive income. Is that a problem? Is that a problem for Notch? No, he wanted billions. It was a too big of a, you know, responsibility in that sense. And it's weird, but, you know, it was a dude who runs away from responsibility for some reason.
The most
That's what it is.
Marcus Peterson.
But he has a vision and just fucking fulfills that vision, but then runs away the moment, you know, it's kind of like a father who ran away for the Milkies and never came back. That's what Notch is. And in a way, it's very offensive type of thing that, you know, rots Minecraft right now into a graveyard of a game instead of an actual pleasant experience.
Also known at $1 million.
How much money do you have?
Apparently not enough. Way too much responsibility.
Games becoming a hit. But unfortunately for him, Minecraft
Minecraft became popular. That's so sad for Notch. It's so crazy.
became a lot more
It's the craziest position to put yourself in, where like your success is a misery or of some kind. It's like, what the fuck?
than just a pop. Kind of reminds me of the creator of Flappy Bird 2, the mobile game, who created Flappy Bird and then actually took
Yup. I cannot take this
it down
anymore.
because he literally didn't want 14, that is.
I think that's the stupidest thing. Your life is meant to change. This is the stupidest thing, right? Because you just have to accept success, and that's all it takes. It takes to recognize that your life is going to change entirely, right? And that's it. For this guy, it takes courage to understand that he has to dominate the industry just to make it, more humane. I don't know what Satoshi has to recognize besides being a fucking asshole. Yeah, he should rip off his band-aid. This is technically the high level of Minecraft graveyard. So fucking highest level imaginable. Because it literally has Notch in there, bro. But it also has Dream, the faceless person, a doomed person, and perhaps every other Minecrafter in Linux that has been taken over by Microsoft.
For a really long time now.
Minecraft is one of those OSs that you have to take control over as best as you can to be able to use it as an OS, because it's a 3D OS, basically. Blocky. But it didn't give you too many abilities. In this 2D world, however, when things can move freely, and I can make any game I want, as long as it's 2D, there's still a lot more freedom than in Minecraft, at least for me, in my brain. But that does not stop there, because I will make my own rendering engine come back to life very soon. I should be strong enough to be able to come back to it and bring it back to life, and that might be the actual thing that will make me popular. Because shit, I look back into my rendering engine, it's like fucking badass. It's so fucking good. And smooth. Just works flawlessly. And can probably render insane amount of objects with insane amount of detail. I dare to say is gonna be insane. And might even replace this whole OS with something entirely new. I'm not sure. Not sure, am I right? You're not sure.
I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not a CEO. I'm a nerdy computer programmer who likes to have opinions on Twitter. This is homophobic and sexist, which actually led to him getting canceled, and Microsoft removed all the
It's Microsoft owning things and being a little bitch about it. It has nothing to do with Notch, the person who would own Minecraft. And that's the person that I would want to see more of. The Fireproof version of Notch who can do whatever he wants.
by many as racist.
And cannot really be cancelled, besides cancelled by the population at large. But they might just be cancelling themselves in their own YouTube channels. So it's very difficult to cancel a creator who owns the fucking game. It's
homophobic, which actually led to him getting canceled.
Homophobic and sexist, we gonna label that it's bad, basically. Oh, whatever you said is bad, actually, and you're cancelled.
And Microsoft, can you...
It's okay to be white is very homophobic and sexist. That's what probably Notch wanted to play with, but he just destroyed his reputation because he didn't own enough power to be able to withstand cancellation, basically. That's the interesting part, I think.
And Microsoft was for Microsoft.
And then the gaslighting capitalism distorts reality. Whoever owns the most money are the best people. I love these people. Please don't hurt me, Please don't fire me, so to speak. Of course.
Pretty much anyone would know what to do with, and Minecraft's not going to be dying anytime soon. So...
no, it's dead. Capitalism kills things very simply, in a different way than it's usual, right? It's through monetization. That's how capitalism kills, and mostly with competition. If Hytale shows up in the market, it kills Minecraft. It just kills Minecraft. That's just what happens in capitalism. A better product that is not ripping people off is gonna suck in all the player base big time and become the trending topic as well. So, you have to invest your money because you might get money back. It's just the same Bitcoin bullshit in the capitalism. That's very interesting. We just bumped into like a fireproof material, which I did not expect to happen because I wanted to know what TempleOS is. For fuck's sake.
Exceptionally talented programmer diagnosed with schizophrenia. He wrote the entire, which included.
It literally sounds the same way as with me, except from my perspective, like schizophrenia is just a super fucking common thing to diagnose people with when they have mental problems or whatever. Being in parents' basement and doing some, like, this is a natural thing that I would gravitate towards anyways, in order to accumulate self-control in that sense, or control over reality from just a simple point of view, and that it would make things entertaining as well and progressive. That's the most important thing, that I want to feel like I'm progressing somehow. Well, yeah, diagnoses just simply mean that people don't like you, that outside people and they maybe collectively don't like you if the or you did something wrong and they don't like you, and they think you have mental problems instead of, you know, doing a regular crime of sorts that can either be better or worse depending on the justice system.
A bootloader, kernel, Linux library, and multiple games, all powered by his own compiler and custom programming
Fucking games, let's go.
language called Holy C. It all fits in under 100,000 lines of code at 1.4 megabytes.
Of course.
It's just as God in colors. The underlying language tool like VirtualBox configured for a 64-bit operating, the personal menu. From here, you'll find a huge variety of games like
huge variety, let's go.
like 3D for utilities to manage your finances and make music. Remember, this is all internet person.
That's not old, that's 49 years old. Isn't that well, it's probably 59? It's not, though. I can do math in my head. OS. What? 49? It's fucking crazy, dude.
Personality and genius program. Watching.
Every time, like, I think about TempleOS, I'm not impressed because the graphics just fucking drain my soul. I can't handle the graphical stupidity almost. I do like the idea of a lot of things being in one place. Absolutely, that's beautiful. But you also have to, like, install it in the most fucking ridiculous ways. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, why is this popular? Is my real question in the sense. To the point where every single programmer knows what it is. And that's kind of weird.
So is God's work.
But just like we talked about, this is what every programmer should be doing, is creating a node system where it contains a bunch of games, interactive things and tools to learn from, and ability for you to modify things easily. Like, that's beautiful, right? That's the beauty of TempleOS in this sense. Of one man's work, one man's temple. That's the way I see it.
Fortunately, Terry's mental state had been deteriorating rapidly since being diagnosed with schizophrenia.
In a way, when this is the vibe of you lost it. You know, Americans lost it. They couldn't hold a person like that alive for long enough to make any substantial OS basically out of it, or big enough temple. They just made a concept of a temple, however. Now, to pick up this flag as a responsibility and a pathway, I'm not going to lose my mind, but I'm positioning myself where things can get fucking really fucking disturbing. That's for sure, right? Schizophrenia is also not just a label, but technically, by reading this vibe, I can tell you guys, it's a looming doom scenario, basically. For some people, it's a lot, you know, realizing a lot faster than others, basically, or compiling itself based on the grudge that people hold on you. Just that can make you be fearful of people in general, and the way relationships deteriorate as well will determine how like how fearful you are. Because technically, it's scared for me to even say that, but I have barely anything to hold on to, and it's like, what the fuck do I even do? Like that shit is the platform that you stand on, and the moment I lose that, they lose me as well, right? Europe loses one of these guys, basically. But yeah, the full vibe is that Americans don't actually have much influence on whether I will be able to be building this tool or not. They have to come down to level 2 difficulty to prove themselves worthy. For I live in Europe, and it's very difficult life, but that makes evil also difficult to organize their powers against people who have more, right? Like Temple is something that people want to take over and destroy, funny enough. And I feel like Terry's life is pretty interesting. It's also Fireproof storyline worthy, potentially. Because the biggest fire is the fire that can happen in your home. Like, you also have to prove yourself in every single way, mentally and in material ways. I think the biggest problem that could happen is the material problem. Me losing physical items, me getting invaded physically somehow, like, that's the thing that fucking creeps me out, but that's the way, bro. That is the way that's gonna happen. It's the government fucking looming over me, basically.
In the mid to late, CIA agents shadowing him.
Yeah.
The story is resulting in direct communication through an oracle.
Yeah, as an American, you don't have the language. You're not even allowed to have a language to describe things properly. You fucking over-exaggerate things. Science from God, and people will exaggerate your things even more by fucking extracting things that sort of makes sense, but it just sounds fucking spiritual nonsense type of things, right? Yeah, it's a hard life right there.
Let's just call it.
I also see God, in a way, and I call it glitching. I collect that shit. The God material. The fact that we're kind of interconnected and there are hidden layers of operating in this world. Just like fear can manifest through smell. It's a big part of life, but people fucking tone it down so this demonic thing doesn't manifest out of control and doesn't get them into trouble. But the layer of fear always exists everywhere, You can always position yourself in a terrible situation with terrible mindset and dig yourself a hole. A lot of trouble, basically. And it's just the surface level of hiding the pandemic, relabeling what the virus is, all the definitions just fucking blurry and science. You know nothing about anything. It's all about science. When the reality is, your feelings actually know more about reality than science can actually, manifest some kind of fucking bullshit, zoom in motion into bacteria or whatever, and show you viruses. That's just facade of reality. Now, I don't want to be overly cryptic, but it just means that whatever the definition are, as long as they're coming from science, they're probably going to be wrong. Just like the idea of me being a flat earther. I'm a flat earther because I hate science, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to fucking throw a middle finger at science and be like, yes, I'm flat earther, prove me wrong. And I'll just stay there. And it's just a very solid position. Like, I take that position, there's nothing to fight against or do. I just take a position that I'm waiting for some cool evidence to change my mind. But flat Earth sounds like a pretty good idea, to be honest. Where it makes the moon and the sun same size. I'll take that idea, okay? I bought it. I have it. I sit here. And the Earth is not spinning around, and I'll take that. That sounds a lot more reasonable than whatever the fuck science is always fucking accumulating bullshit in your face. How do we get here? We're talking about just the spiritual language, right? That's still acceptable in a sense because it doesn't contain science. It contains the curiosity over weird things happening in your life. Even your fucking number generator trying to talk to you or whatever. I have a number generator. Photos. I just don't have enough appropriate photos to show them. But they could also generate something, and I called it a flow if anything interesting happens. Not necessarily a glitch, because I can generate over and over again really fast. A glitch is something that like really just aligns out of nowhere, and someone owns the glitch very likely. This is as closest I got to like the spiritual awareness. The fear level of existence, the glitches that were sort of interconnected potentially, and we can read each other's minds, and the sleep, we would dream about each other, and people we want to interact with, and what those people represent. I am very interested in spiritual shit, so I cannot trash whatever the fuck is going on here. To me, what it feels like, however, what killed him, killed the dude, is that he put himself into limitations, and the moment he has, like, fulfilled all the tasks and couldn't breach the limitations that he had, and nobody really slapped him and helped him to get through that, I mean, it was just over. There was nothing else to do in life but to just go insane. If you let a smart person go insane, like, it's fucking... That's a scary thing, by the way. That's a scary... Like, he should not do that.
Open ring.
Because if that would be the task of... A smart person can always tell to themselves, I want to go insane. And they are smart enough to actually go insane, unlike everyone else. And imagine what that fucking looks like. A smart person going insane because they're just bored and they like ran out of options of what to do in life, right? And TempleOS is also supposed to be like the thing that allows you to find activities and interests. And they are constantly dying as you're getting older because like your generation of people and your generation of technology is trying to get replaced and under attack. But I really don't want to like associate with this at all. As much as I'm like relating to it, I just want to escape into the world where like I have friends and shit, you know? Because that's the way you fucking beat mental illness at any moment.
Zero design over there.
It's just, it sucks that every single person around me trying to be as good of an NPC as possible. NPC that obeys and works for someone else. They just do tasks for someone else. Which is like, what the fuck? Can we do tasks together? Can we come up with tasks together? Complete tasks together? Each other's tasks? Like something like that? That's what friendship is. And it just, friendship is killed by this NPC behavior. 100%.
Their hardware.
When I say NPC behavior, I'm just like, I'm reacting to this like introduction of reading a script and shit like that. It doesn't matter how high production it is. It's NPC when it's just trying to present itself nice and approachable and factual, but it has no purpose, basically.
You can guide
and it just sucks, you know? Like, I want friendship.
me through taking in an interface this unintuitive and cluttered.
Yep. that's just my first impressions.
flashing item looking at.
Yeah, but it's very helpful that people understand some kind of like basic idea behind the existence of TempleOS. Like it's nice that I can refer to it, right? And it's nice for other people too.
Some of it
What is not nice is that the TempleOS does not look nice and does not actually provide you with much whatsoever.
to exit.
Yeah, let me put it this way, right? The ending part of everything. Everything is space. Life is space. And the fact that you don't know people's intentions is also ingrained into like making things that much more complicated. You don't know their intelligence level and intentions, and just intentions of reality itself, like how it possibly can exist. Everything is space, and you will lose sanity. And that's the thing that makes reality properly perceived by you, because you were building your feelings monitor that is not necessarily aligned with everyone else's, you know? And the smartest people have the highest power level feelings monitor, basically. But they also can lose sanity very quickly. Like, that's why I wouldn't want to fucking hang around with just a bunch of random people. I would lose sanity very quickly and would make them go insane as well, and they would fucking attack me for it or whatever, right? I would always be the problem. For I'm the smartest, I'm supposed to solve things for them and whatnot. They would lean on me, and I just, fuck that shit, you know? Who knows? Who knows how fucking weird life actually is when it opens up like that? But that's the real life astronauts behavior, just like traveling alone. Alone, by the way. Like, isn't that fucking crazy to be alone? You're the astronaut at this point, trying to understand life, trying to get the perspective without losing your brain cells. You're trying to stop being alone. That's the goal, basically. To reach a planet, to reach a livable state of life where you're making connections with people. And what do you have to do that? Just have money? Are you sure? Because that's fucking crazy. Just have confidence to approach people? Are you sure? That's kind of fucking crazy. There's something more to it, you know? It's probably mostly about holding power. That's why people are attracted to me as a person, because I have something. I hold power. I hold knowledge that I can display to other people. It attracts people to think that I exist and I matter somehow. Right? I project myself through a YouTube channel. This is my purpose. To attempt to not be alone. To astronaut myself into a position where I'm not supposed to be alone anymore. Or feel like I'm being fucking abused, because that's just gonna make me feel more alone. It's a scary cycle of things. I'm not gonna lie. That's the darkness of people's intentions. You know, they don't see you as a friend, so they will start abusing you because they have self-interest only, and you have to cut them off now. The moment you can, you immediately cut them off. The moment you have the opportunity. If you don't have the opportunity, they actually get scared, because abusing you would mean that, you know, you will get fucking very upset and try and fight back because you don't have options. It's very fucking weird, like, how life actually works and how much you actually have to learn to be able to, you know, not be alone with big brain. Otherwise, just fucking burn brain. And all of a sudden you have all the friends in the universe. Life is fucking weird, alright? And this helps me cope and do something with life and accumulate some kind of power that flexes on people. And sanity. Save my sanity at the same time. I hope you understand. You wouldn't be sticking around for this long if you didn't understood. But that's some kind of story. I'm not sure where it goes, man. It's definitely self-reflection. That's what it is. But yeah, let's say it is the start of Fireproof storyline for sure. Beautiful. See you guys next time.